guys, welcome back to Sincerely Be. This is your host, Blanca. Happy December. Happy last month of the year. Can you guys believe that 2024 is almost over? Like, what? Where did the year go? So before we jump into today's episode, I want to start off our week with a quick Bible verse. I want to start off the week with a Bible verse because I love you, God loves you, and I know that opening the Bible and finding a Bible verse that's actually going to hit your heart is so hard. So as your sister in Christ, I will be the one to help you out. Because I know what it is to open up the Bible and have no freaking clue what you're looking for, or hoping that God just puts a Bible verse in your face to let you know, to tell you what to do or what to say or how to feel. I've been there and I got you. But I want you guys to just sit on these Bible verses for the whole week and just pray on it and see what God really shows you with the Bible verses. I know that I will be praying over these Bible verses that God puts in my heart to be able to speak it with you guys. And I think it would just be so fun to hear what you guys think or what God revealed to you guys through these Bible verses, and just talking about it in our community. I think it would be such a beautiful way to engage with one another and just hear from you guys what God revealed to you through these Bible verses. Okay, so hopping into this week's Bible verse, I will be reading from the NIV version, and this week's Bible verse is Ecclesiastes 3:1. If I am not pronouncing that right, please let me know. I think I'm pronouncing it correctly. Ecclesiastes. I think it's Ecclesiastes. But anyways, correct me if I'm wrong. 3:1. And it says, "There is a time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens." I really, really love this Bible verse. And this Bible verse actually kept popping up as I was praying to God what Bible verse He wanted me to deliver to you guys. And it's really funny because if you guys have listened to the pod since the beginning, you know how much I talk about seasons. And as we are ending the year, I thought it was so ironic how this Bible verse really led us to the topic season and how we are ending this season of 2024. So let me read it one more time. "There is a time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens." And I want to pause there and I want to give you guys some time to just think about and reflect about what type of season you feel 2024 was for you. And why, before I read the Bible verse again, and I said how it was ironic that it led me to a Bible verse where it talks about seasons, because in this pod, we have been talking about seasons for like every topic. I feel like my topics are about season, but I just feel that that's the way that we should be looking at our journeys in our life and just our life overall. Because just as we see the changes in our natural seasons that happen, which is spring, summer, fall, winter, we tend to feel certain ways during those seasons. For example, during winter, it can get kind of depressing because it's cold, it's gloomy, it gets dark earlier. And compared to the summer, in the summer, we're like in an all-time high where we feel so good about ourselves. We want to try different things. In the fall, it's a beautiful time of change. So when we talk about seasons in this Bible verse, a season for every activity under the heavens, I want you guys to think about that. How you started 2024 might not be the same way that you're ending 2024. And this can be on a lot of things. You might have changed your career path during this year. You might have ended some relationships this year. You might have started a good hobby, or you might have stuck to the same thing throughout all 2024. But it's okay. It's okay to go through these different seasons, feeling different ways, giving up different things, being encouraged by different things, introducing new things into our life, because, as it says, there is a time for everything. And I think that we get very caught up into needing to do everything all at once. And we need to remind ourselves that everything that we want to do, if it's God's will, it'll come to us in the season that it's meant to be for. And I also love that in this passage, it breaks it down to really, it says there's a time to cry and a time to laugh, which is so true. Because there are times where we feel like crying, but there's also times that we feel like laughing. There's times that we're embracing things, and then there's times that we're refraining from embracing. There's times that we stay silent, and there's times that we speak. And I really encourage you to read the whole passage on Ecclesiastes 3. It goes really deep into it, but we'll stick to just chapter 3, verse 1. I think it's a very clear and straightforward Bible verse, and I just encourage you to pray over it and see what God reveals to you in this passage. And this passage was actually very interesting that it came up a lot of times as I was praying, because I wanted to talk about the end of this month, like how we are ending this month and how the year is coming to an end. And I want us to take a deep breath. I don't know how that sounds in the mic, but just take a deep breath as you're driving, as you're listening, as you're watching, whatever you're doing right now. But I really want you to just take a step back. Take a step back and take off all this pressure that you've had throughout this whole year. Whether it was the pressure of making really challenging decisions in your personal life, whether it was having new opportunities and not knowing what to do in those moments. Just take a moment and take a moment to just relax your body. If you have your jaw clenched, if you have your shoulders up high, relax. Just relax everything right now. And think about everything that you have accomplished in 2024 and embrace all the good things that have happened to you this year. And I also want you to embrace all the bad that has happened this year. And you're going to be like, what? Excuse me? Yes. Let's embrace it. Let's embrace the good and bad. Because although we don't like to look at the bad things that have happened this year, it's also a beautiful thing to look at and learn from whatever happened during that time. And knowing that going into 2025, we're hopefully going to change those certain things that might have happened, or remove certain people, certain things from our life that we don't want to enter into 2025. The good and the bad is always worth embracing, because we're celebrating our good and we're closing the chapter to the bad things that happened this year, because there's always room to grow the year ahead of us. I love that people have their New Year resolutions, and it's a beautiful thing. And I think people should, do it. But I also want you to remember that you don't have to wait until the new year to start making the changes that you want to see. You don't even have to wait until next week to start making those changes. But the month of December, I think it's really beautiful to start picking and choosing what you want to see yourself doing in 2025. What you are deciding to not let in to 2025. Before 2024 ends and everyone starts doing their 2024 recap and starts showing all of the fun things that they did and all of the beautiful things that they accomplished and all their successes and everything, I want you to realize that throughout that recap, there are those hidden moments where each individual was probably having their own battles. But no one shows that. No one wants to show that. No one wants to show what the heck you went through, the bad things that you went through, and the ugly things that you went through. Obviously, no one's going to show that. Everyone's going to be showing all the fun things that they did and all their accomplishments and everything, which is awesome to show, which is awesome to, put out there. But I want you to remember that if your 2024 didn't look like that, don't put that pressure on yourself. Don't make yourself feel bad and be like, oh my gosh, like my 2024 was crap. Like I didn't do anything. I didn't accomplish anything. I was stuck in the same cycle and everything. That's your recap. And that's okay if it's not looking like everybody else's. But the beauty about our own recap is that we're looking at our own life and we're like, what in the world do I want to change for myself? If you constantly saw yourself going through the same unhealthy cycle, what were you doing that kept you in that same cycle? Just think about the things that kept you from moving forward. Think about the things that held you back from experiencing the good. And it's honestly ourselves. We can constantly be in that same battle because we're not changing those unhealthy habits. So I just want you to think about that before you go into 2025. What unhealthy habits can I change before going into 2025? But I don't want us to have that pressure of thinking that we have to go into next week, next year, next month with such pressure of being like, okay, I have to be completely perfect as I'm walking into 2025 and leave this, and this, and this, and this. Absolutely not, because that is not realistic. Our habits are so hard to break sometimes because we are so used to this cycle of things that make us comfortable, things that make us feel good. Like, of course, it's not going to be an easy habit to break. And everyone has those unhealthy habits that it takes us a while to actually break. I encourage you to write down those habits that you kept catching yourself in 2024 that you either kept going back to, kept yourself in, or kept you from moving forward. Write it down. I really do encourage you, write it down. Just think about it. Think about what was that unhealthy habit that just did not allow you to move forward into success. And I'm not just talking about like wealth success or anything like that. I'm talking about all sorts of success. Your relationships, your personal life, mentally, physically, emotionally. What kept you back from actually accomplishing what you thought you were going to accomplish in 2024? Like for me, I don't know why, for a while I got really lazy. And I'm not a lazy person. And I'm proud. I'm honestly so proud to say I'm not a lazy person. When I put my mind to something, I go ahead and I do it. I give it a try. If I fail, hey, I gave it a try. But there was a point in this year where I got like actually physically lazy, where I got mentally lazy, where I just wanted to scroll on my phone, not think about anything, not do anything. I didn't want to work on my body. And these are things because I really enjoy doing. I enjoy physically moving my body. I enjoy stimulating my brain. These are things that I enjoy. So for me, it was very weird that I started feeling this way. And I thought I was going to get a lot more done this year. I thought I was going to have a super different change in my body. I thought I was going to be more toned. I really thought that I was going to finish a lot more books in the Bible, to be honest, that I had told myself I was going to read, and I just got lazy. But instead of throwing myself a little pity party and trying to find like why it happened and like victimizing myself and, whatever, I sat down and I was like, okay, what is making me feel this way? Why am I not wanting to put any sort of effort in myself? And I noticed that it was really because no one was like holding me accountable. And that was really hard. Doing it by yourself sometimes can get really hard. So you have to really push yourself to do it. No one else can really tell you like, hey, go work out. Hey, go read a book. Like no one really can tell you to go do these things, because at the end of the day, you're going to do it for yourself. So if you don't want to do it, you don't have to do it. So it's really about disciplining yourself. And then my cousin, she joined a Pilates studio, and she introduced me to that Pilates studio. And so I gave it a try, and I absolutely fell in love with the way that it made my body feel. And I really enjoyed it, and I really want to stick to it. And it's just something that I really enjoy to do, and that keeps my body moving. And it's just something that I love for my body, you know? Because there was a point where I would go to the gym and everything, and then the gym just wasn't hitting as I wanted it to hit. You know, like I kind of got bored of going to the gym, but because it's just not something that I personally for myself like to do. And so I was like, you know what? I need to find something that I'm actually going to get excited to go and do. And it's something that I want to continue to do moving forward into 2025, because I'm like, girl, I'm sorry, but lazy does not look good on you. Like I looked at myself and I was like, what, like, yeah. And I was like, yeah, no, lazy is not for me. Like I just need to do stuff for myself. And then I started to read the Bible and everything, and I really started to like not just read it, but I really went passage by passage, and I was like on the New Testament for a while. And it's not just like about reading it, but it was really about being fed by the word and really understanding what God is trying to tell me in this time. Right now, my sister, my cousin, and I are doing the Luke Bible Challenge as this month ends. It's honestly such a beautiful thing to do with other people, because they keep you accountable. And that's also something that I really want to continue to do in 2025, finding individuals that will hold me accountable to things that I'm saying that I'm going to do. Finding friends that will call you out in things that you shouldn't be doing, you know? And sometimes it's hard. Sometimes it's really hard to be called out on things that you don't want to be called out in. And it's funny because at work we call it, you're not calling out, you're calling them in. And it's true, because it's not like you're calling them out to shame them or embarrass them, but rather you're calling them in to help them understand, like, hey, you said you were going to do these certain things and you're not following through. Like, what's going on, you know? And I think that's what we also need to approach our goals with. We need to approach our goals with kindness and compassion, and not just being a competition towards ourselves. Because I hear a lot of like, oh, it's me versus me. Absolutely. Absolutely. But are you being kind to yourself as you are trying to complete these goals? So I really just encourage you to focus on how you want to grow and how you want to show up the next year. Because it's okay if you didn't do it this year. It's okay if 2024 was not your year. And I know I kind of talked a little too much about the negative things, but I think we get stuck on the negative more than we do on the positive. So I wanted to kind of get that out of the way and really just embrace it. Write it down, burn it if you have to. Write it down, burn it if you have to, and make it disappear. Because it's not going to go in to 2025 with us. Holy cow. I'm seeing 2025 and I'm like, that's insane. 2025 is insane. Ugh, God is good. Another year. That's amazing. I just want to tell you, like, it's okay to not have it figured out. It's okay that you're not too sure what you want in 2025, because 2024 was a confusing year, or it might have been just a year of a lot of changes. And you're just like, I don't even know what I'm supposed to expect in 2025, because 2024 was definitely not what I expected. And that is completely okay. Because going back to the Bible verse, there is a time for everything and a season for everything. And maybe this was your season of change. So you're going into 2025, leaving it all to God. And you're probably like, whoa, wow, girl, no. What do you mean? Now you're pushing it. You are pushing it. You're telling me that I can't be in control of my own things. Well, you tried to control 2024 and it led you to uncertainty. It led you to confusion. It led you to disappointment. Maybe 2025 is the year where you actually hand it all over to God. But we have to be okay with the uncertainty. We have to be okay with knowing that all these plans that we have for ourselves are probably not going to happen. I think it's very healthy that we give ourselves goals and we give ourselves the opportunity to grow and give ourselves the opportunity to step out of our comfort zone. And maybe 2024 was great for you. Maybe you're like, you know what? I had a great year. I got to travel a lot. I got to meet new people. I started a new career. I got into my dream school. I got married. I got engaged. Maybe 2024 was honestly a great year for you. And I have no doubt that God really blessed you in this year. And God is so good for that. And I just want to remind you that if you had a good year in 2024, thank God for everything that happened in 2024 for you. Take this month as the month that you are restarting. Take this month as the month that you will be leaving things behind, moving forward with certain things, refocusing on what truly matters to you, the relationships you want to bring into 2025, the habits that you want to leave or bring into 2025. I think many of us expected 2024 to be very different. And some of us planned it and it all happened the way that we planned it. And hey, you know what? Amazing. Love that for you. For many of us, 2024 was maybe not the year that we expected certain things to happen to us, but we have to embrace it. We have to be okay with what already happened and give ourselves kindness in the things that we might have fallen back into, might have accepted that maybe things we shouldn't have accepted, might have let boundaries been crossed, might have had disappointments that we really tried to give the benefit of the doubt, but we have to embrace it and we have to learn from it and we have to tell ourselves, what can I do differently going into this year? What can I change? And what is God trying to show me in this upcoming season? So I leave you all with that. And I want to read you the Bible verse of the week one more time so you can pray about it as well. Ecclesiastes 3:1. There is a time for everything and a season for every activity under the heaven. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And I hope you guys have a beautiful start to the week. Sincerely, B.